I blacked out my UAV to give it the ultimate stealth look.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling.
Here's how I did it. I start by removing all 4 props and setting them to the side. There are 4 screws underneath each arm that need to be removed in order to free the top shell from the body. I begin to prep the top shell for painting by making sure to cover all the vents with painter's tape. There are 8 vents in total that need to be covered. I secure the GPS cable and protect the GPS with newspaper. The 2 orientation stripes on the forward-facing arms have an extremely smooth glass-like finish, so I use 800 grit sandpaper to gently rough them up to ensure nice paint adhesion. Using the sandpaper, I also remove any sticker residue, like on the arm ends where the blade rotation indicators once were. The final step before painting is wiping down the entire surface with a damp paper towel to remove any dirt or debris, making sure to wipe dry afterwards. I was worried that the coat of paint I was about to apply would weigh down the craft and affect its performance in the skies. For peace of mind, I did a before and after paint weigh-in. As you can see here, the weight before paint comes in at 99 grams. The paint I'm using is matte black by Painter's Touch, along with a matte clear coat finish by Rust-Oleum. The paint brand really doesn't matter, it's just what my local Home Depot had in stock. Before I do painting of any kind, I always ensure that my surrounding area is covered in newsprint to protect against any wandering paint particles. Proper ventilation and respiratory protection is key. I find the secret to achieving a professional looking finish when spray painting is to hold the can approximately 30 centimeters away from your workpiece, while sweeping back and forth from side to side, using several short bursts. Keep in mind the term soft mist. We want to avoid the formation of paint droplets. If drops do appear on your workpiece, it means that you've applied too much paint at once. When done properly, the freshly painted surface should appear adequately wet, uniform, and extremely consistent. I wait a couple of minutes to allow the solvents that are keeping the paint liquid to lift and evaporate. I then apply a second coat using the same sweeping technique. I apply the clear coat after the last coat of paint has lost its liquid sheen and appears dry to the touch. I find when using clear coat, the wet coating technique helps keep orange peeling at bay. Wet coating is spray painting until the surface becomes extremely glossy and wet looking, while still carefully avoiding any drops. There's a pretty fine line between a good wet coat and the formation of droplets. I set aside the freshly painted piece to dry for 24 hours. The final stage is to prep the body. I decide to leave the electronics inside the frame and compensate by being extremely meticulous with my taping. I remove the gimbal and dampening plates. I carefully remove the FPV transmitter as well as all stickers. Tweezers and an X-Acto blade are perfect persuaders. I remove both antennas and carefully disassemble the compass enclosure. I pull all of the wires up into the body and temporarily secure them with tape. I cover the vents in order to protect the PCBs from any paint. I also cover all 4 motors with painter's tape. This is the first of 2 protective layers. The next layer is done with newsprint. I diligently tape the outer edge of the body to create a barrier between the outside surface and the inner. I use a newspaper dome secured to my wall of tape which completely covers the body and all of the components within. There are a few vents on the inside of the battery compartment that also need to be covered. I finish by blocking off the battery receiving port, taping the lights, and trimming off any excess. Weight before paint is 525 grams. I use the same technique I applied to the upper shell in both painting the matte black and applying the clear coat, paying extra attention to any hard to reach crevices. I let the body dry for 24 hours. I remove all of the protective painter's tape and softly scratch away any excess. The only thing left now is to carefully reassemble all of the parts and unleash the new, improved, completely blacked out, eyes in the sky UAV.
Release the Kraken!